What is up, everybody? It's me, it's Dean, and I'm back for another video. The mixed sun is setting, so we're gonna sleep. But I wanted to talk about UHC season 40, the final UHC. I actually did a take of this already, but decided to do it again. Do a little do-over now that I've watched the majority of perspectives. We're currently in the games land, which is called Jiffy Land, which I forget how that came about. But yeah, it's now Jiffy Land, and it's actually coming along quite nicely. Back when I last recorded or last made videos, there was not much going on here. There was Floaty Boaty, I had Good Fortunes up. This is here, basically a few things over here. Now we got quite a few things going up. We got another hole in the tooth right here, and I am making I guess a Jsano Kart track. I wonder if we should rename that. I don't know what to rename it to. But yeah, let's take a walk around. And then we're going to place ice on one of the sections while I talk about UHC. So the starting line is probably going to be over here somewhere. I think I'm going to put the walls up as dried kelp. Yeah, I think the start-finish line might be here. And from the start, you can go on either side of the Good Fortunes Island here, but it's preferred that you go this way because there's a lot more room. I might widen the other side a little bit, but it also kind of swings this way when you're supposed to go that way, so it's actually not very beneficial to go this way. But then you swing down in this direction, which all of this interior stuff will be widened and adjusted. But we got a split here where you can go through the tunnel or around the tunnel, and then through this. Like I said, it'll be widened in places. Come out to this kind of lake area. The banners here are just places where I ran into a patrol. And this very narrow section, which, in case I didn't say it before, will be widened. Probably not by much. I think I want to keep it pretty narrow. But I might try to like straighten out the entryway here. And then it really widens out. So there's a shortcut over here, but it's not easy to get to. I might do like a very thin strip of ice here, but I kind of want to keep it tricky to access, or maybe I'll just leave it as is, because if you don't go that way, you come all the way around here. And the intention for this section is to be, very wide open and super fast. And then we get to this part, which is the part I need to work on, where all the ice is going to go. And I'm going to need a lot of it. Like, I have a lot. I finished tearing down an ice spikes biome. And I'm pretty sure everything I have in my inventory is not going to complete this part, even remotely close. But once you come out of the shortcut or around the wider part there, you swing this way. Again, very high speed, lots of room. Might put on some blue ice. I do have a little bit of blue ice that I might just throw down in a couple strips over here, just to give people a speed boost. Then I want it to kind of narrow here briefly, and then it'll widen a little bit. And you got all this space to work with. I filled in these areas with ice, but I might, like, if I need these back, I might take them out, because I don't think anybody's going to go over here. Although it'd be kind of funny if they did. Oh yeah, I gotta get this boat. I'm using, like I said, I'm using kelp for the walls, because we got kelp all over the place. And then through here, we got a few sandbars. That can be hazards. But once once this fills in, there's going to be a pretty good lane to cut right through here. So really, the sandbar risk is if you want to like cut this a little bit closer. And then it swings back through here. There is I don't think I would call this a shortcut, but you can go this way if you really want to. And then takes you back around to the start-finish line. So, like I said, start-finish line is probably going to be right here, right where this little peninsula is. So yeah, it's looking good so far. Right now, my Good Fortunes building is being used as the workstation. I gotta grab the stuff I need. So yeah, let's talk about Season 40. Potentially the final regular scheduled UHC, at least for now. At the very least for now. There's always a possibility that maybe we get the itch to do it more regularly in the future. Or maybe we just don't do it at all. Why do we have so much in here? Not evenly spaced. Let's grab our ice. Let's turn these into blocks. Put this away, and then we grab this and all of these. And grabbing the bed. So yeah, because it is our potentially final UHC, put in a bit of an extra effort into inviting people to join us. And we actually had a pretty good turnout. We got 19 players with Weather watching over us. Weather being like the pseudo 20th person, because he didn't play, he just kind of watched. Yeah, good turnout. First, we haven't had a group that big since Season 16, from what I could tell. Season 16, we had 22. And basically ever since that day, we've been in decline. So, but yeah, good turnout. We did teams of 3, vanilla UHC. I was on a team with Cookie and Shostin. It's good to see Cookie back. There's also the green team, which had Lemons, Boo, and Dakota. And then Special Bro joined them. He started out as a lone wolf, but the first team to find him would join. And that was the green team, quite early. Orange team was Nixer, Tiny, and Zoltry, who is formerly known as Tiff. Then we had red team, which was Muck, Red Star, and Asus. Pink team, which was Goose, Killer, and Panda. Blue team, which is Dennis, Max, and Tuki. And I think that's everyone. Yellow, orange, green, pink, blue, and red. Yeah, I think that's everyone. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I'm gonna lose track of where I started. Maybe I'll just work along this huge diagonal here, and we're gonna collect all of this in the process. So yeah, our team started off pretty good. We were right by a desert village. Where we started, we were by a pretty small mesa biome. But we didn't really have time to make use of it because the world border closes from day 1. And everybody was positioned around the world border with Lemon's team in the middle, which did not bode well for them, spoiler alert. Yeah, we got some basic stuff, went underground, did our basic caving, don't think there was anything too crazy going on there. Um, the big highlight was that Shawston got a buried treasure map, and on day 2 wanted to go see where that buried treasure was, and found it, but also saw the blue team, who had just peeked their heads out above ground at that time. Wait, I saw torches. I have 1 torch. But, yeah, Shawston managed to escape. And then, we went caving for a little bit longer. We got our enchantments going. Went back to the surface. Got ourselves a couple wolves. Mine ended up drowning, unfortunately. Let's see. Went underground for a little bit longer. Then day 4 is where things started to kick off pretty quickly. Green team apparently was heading up to the surface to look for leather so that they could enchant. And we decided to move in a bit closer. Closer to 0-0. And we happened to spot them. We spotted Boo all by herself, looking the other way, and moved in for the kill. While Cookie and Shawson were going after Boo, I saw Lemons in the distance and swung wide around to flank him. I guess he never saw me, which was good because I managed to kind of sneak up on him. And then he led me on a bit of a wild goose chase, and managed to eventually get the kill on him, which was good because we were lacking. We did not have bows or arrows at the time. I think we had 1 bow between the 3 of us at the time, and like almost no arrows. And then after killing Lemons, we had 2 bows and like 1 arrow or something like that. I picked up 1 arrow off the ground that Lemons had shot. And then Dakota and Special kind of got pinched between us and the pink team. Green team actually found pink team first and then tried to stay away from them, and that kind of handed them over to us, essentially. So Dakota and Special kind of found themselves in between us and pink team. I should be sleeping. And basically bounced back and forth between the 2 of us, and then ended up back in our laps, and so we took them out. And then we had to run away from pink team real quick, which we did, and then went back underground to recuperate a little bit. While we were doing that, red team were having quite the time. They apparently found more diamonds than iron, which is pretty interesting. Apparently a few teams had kind of the same issue of struggling to find iron. Our struggle was arrows and gold, and throughout the entire UHC, I only ever made 2 apples, which I think I handed off to... I gave 1 to Cookie, and I think I gave the other to Shawston. And then maybe Cookie and Shawston found 1 or 2 more after that, but for the most part, we did not have the gold. We had the apples. I traded day 1 for like 25 apples in day 1, and then yeah, didn't find any gold despite being right next to a mesa biome. No, the border was too close. But yeah, red team. They decided to go into the Nether to get potions, which it looked like it was going to work out quite well for them. but it went south really quickly. According to the perspective I saw, the fortress was just swarming with withered skeletons and blazes, and they had gas patrolling as well. And all three of them went down to almost no health and were basically stuck in the nether for pretty much the entire rest of the time, watching their health whittle away. So, Aces ultimately died to a wither skeleton that happened to drop into a little makeshift blaze spawner, blaze grinder. And then Muck died in a pretty silly random way, where basically their little fortification had a gap. One of the sides had an inner wall and an outer wall, separated by a 1-block gap in between, and a blaze happened to squeeze his way into that gap and then just kind of slid past the window and sniped Muck as it passed by, leaving Red Star all by themselves. So, but back in the overworld, Blue Team found themselves in kind of an odd spot. Next day, our team went 0-0. We were kind of looking around, and we saw the entrance to someone's base, and Shasa went down to take a peek. While this was happening, Tuki had apparently surfaced like a moment or two earlier and was fishing, and when he turned around, we were standing over the entrance of the base. At the same time that was happening, Pink Team had also, maybe a minute or two before we arrived, they spotted Mixon, who had dug up almost to the surface to get, I think, gravel and iron. I think it was iron. And so they started digging down towards Max. So Blue Team kind of found themselves in the middle of two teams, neither of us realizing that the other was there. But while Shostin was checking out the staircase, Cookie thought that he was seeing Shostin by the border, but then Shostin re-emerged from the staircase, and they were like, wait a second, if that's Shostin, then who's that? And turned out to be Tuki. So we chased him off, and then while we chased him off, Pink Team found Max and took him out, and then continued down the staircase to where Dennis was. He managed to kill Goose before getting killed by Panda, I believe. So all that was left from the Blue Team was Tuki. And so our team, continued on to another village that the Pink Team had pretty much completely cannibalized, but they made a mistake and left behind a Fletcher. So we spent the night killing spiders for strings so that we could have bows, and used the Fletcher to get arrows. So we went from having like 7 arrows each to over a stack each, or right around a stack each. So yeah, we went from nothing to everything in pretty quick fashion. Everything was falling into place. Still didn't have the gold, but didn't seem to matter in this case. Then the dawn of the final day arrives. Eternal Day gets turned on, and we decide to start circling the border. Overnight, Shawson wanted to make wolf armor for his wolf, and during the next day, we were one scoot short, and we found one on top of this cliffside. So we went up there, we got the scoot, made the wolf armor, and while we were kind of hanging out there, apparently, from what I've seen from Special Bros' perspective, Pink Team, Pink, Orange, and Tuki were all also very close to each other. Tuki had uh, escaped the orange team initially, and then was kind of hiding by the border while orange team took over 0-0. And while they were taking over 0-0, they spotted the pink team and had a brief scuffle before the pink team ran off. And in doing so, the pink team ran towards us, which we started shooting at them. And I think Shawson got Panda down pretty low during that. And so they ran off into the jungle. And so we were like, well, we're not going that way because it's Panda and Killer. So we're going to go the other way. And in going the other way, we ran into the orange team, which at the time was the only full team left besides us. So we had a brief scuffle with them. I had my MLG Pro turnaway shot that landed. I think I hit maybe... it was either Tiny or Naxer, I think, with that shot. It's pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. So, yeah, after that we ran back towards the base of the mountains. And while we were doing that, pink team came back towards us. Probably because they saw that I got the Take Aim achievement, which could only mean one thing by that point, is that we ran into orange team. So they're probably like, well, we could get the jump on them, could squeeze them. But by that point, like I said, we had already fallen back, and so in the process, we practically ran into each other again, or I did. I fought Killer and Panda a little bit by myself. I got like one shot off, and then they ran away again. And then we decided to go through the jungle as well, but closer to the border. And orange team finally caught up with Tuki and took care of him. So now it's just orange team, yellow team, pink team, and red star still in the nether. Red star finally managed to escape the nether fortress and was now just kind of digging around with, I think their intention at the time was to try to prolong the UHC as much as possible to get like a 5-hour season out of it, which we were destined for like a 2-hour UHC, which is what ended up happening. But yeah, so our team, we circle around, we cut through the jungle and start to circle back towards 0-0. While we're doing that, pink team and orange team run into each other again, and now they basically begin the final stand, and we notice that we are behind the pink team, and similar to our situation with the green team, we decided we were going to sneak up behind them, and we got pretty close, and then sprung our ambush. I think Panda saw us, but so they moved to a new position. We took over their position, and now we had a 3-team fight, and it was going to be a bit of a stalemate from there. I had once again gotten another pretty good shot, and yeah, other than that, it was going to be a bit of a stalemate. It could have been anybody's game, I think, if we just kept it as a bow battle. But then pink team pretty much sealed the fate for both them and orange, I would say, because they decided to charge in on the orange team, and the orange team answered in kind and charged in on them because it was like a 3v2, and orange team managed to get the clean sweep on the pink team, so Killer and Panda were both eliminated there. But in doing so, or while they were doing that, our team, we noticed what was going on and decided to move in a little bit closer, and then just kind of pour arrows into the group, into the crowd. And by the time they finished their battle, we had knocked Orange Team's health down to like one or two shots each. I think Tiny ate an apple during that, but like quickly after their fight with Pink Team, Shasen took care of Zultry, and then it was pretty much, it was a bit of a brief bow battle here and there, a little bit of maneuvering. Shasen took down Tiny, and then I got my fourth really good shot of the game, where I saw the very front of Nixer's body peeking out from behind the wall at one point, and I just fired a shot, tried to shave the arrow across the front of that wall, and it worked out. So I got the kill on Nixer. And then all that was left was Red Star, still in the Nether, had blocked themselves into a wall and was basically just digging tunnels. And so there was a ruined portal at 0-0, so we decided we're going to repair the portal and go in after them. And we go into the Nether, and we take a look around, and looking at other people's footage, it turns out we were about to go in the complete opposite direction. I saw some bridge work underneath us, so I was like, well, maybe they went that way. But it turns out that Red Star had dug in pretty close to where our portal spawned in. An odd thing with the closing border I noticed was that, because Pink Team took a peek in the Nether as well, all three Nether portals that were made were pretty close to each other by this fortress. They're all right next to the fortress. And if you looked on spectator mode, you could pretty much see all three were pretty close to each other. I think the red team's portal was the farthest away from the fortress, but ours and pink team's portal were like not only next to the fortress but really close to each other. So yeah, we went into the Nether ready to fight, and then Red Star pretty anticlimactically dug into a lava source and burned to death. And so we won. So Shasen, Cookie, and I won UHC Season 40, potentially the final UHC. Final regular UHC at the very least. So, and as Killer mentioned in the post-game chat, it was pretty poetic that the two of us, the two that take this the most seriously, and the ones who I guess were the most passionate about it, and with me with my leaderboard, Shasen with the FIU stuff, and we both took turns organizing the events over the years and all that. We happened to be the ones that win the final one, so that's pretty cool. So that's my fourth UHC win, which means I am 1 in 10 for UHC wins out of 40, which is not bad. Shasen, I think, is up to like 12 wins or something like that, and I'm pretty sure he won like every single season in the second half of the series. I think he won like 7 out of 10 this season, or this series. Let's see, he did not win 31. This is a runner-up in 31. 32 was a win, so that's 1. 33 is not a win. 34 was a win, so that's 2. 35 was not a win. I'm pretty sure 36 through 40 was 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So yeah, that would be 7. Assuming I'm right. I know he won 40 and 39 and 38 and 37. And I think 36. So, I think 36 was me and Dennis. I think. There's one with Boo as well. Somewhere in there. I think, right? Yeah. There's me, Boo, and Tiny. Oh no, it's me, Boo, Tiny, and Dennis in the desert ones. There's me and Desert. Me and Dennis in 36. I think it's me, Tiny, Boo, and Dennis in 37. I forget who it was for 38. Oh, me and Red Star for 38. And then 39 was me, Red Star, and Asus. So, something like that. Yeah. Shawson ran away with all of those. So. And speaking of running away with it, Shawson wins the Series 4 championship. The only person to go back-to-back. And also had the biggest lead out of any of the 4 champions. 75 points over me. I finished second in points, which was pretty nice. So, statistically, looking at UHCs over the years, I had improved points by points. So if we were ever to do a Series 5, I should theoretically win that championship, because I can only go one position better from there. So, but yeah, 75 points. Basically, like, after episode 1, after the first day-night cycle, Shawson pretty much had it locked, because he went in, well, pretty much since the UHC started, he won. He won the championship from last season. But, like, with me teaming up with him, me being on the same team, that pretty much eliminated me from ever having a chance, because I'm not going to kill my teammate. Like, I suppose we could have, like, found an ancient city, and I could have found, like, 5 or 6 notch apples, and then all I would have to do is 6 points better than Shawson. But we were still teammates, so, and he got 4 kills this season, so I don't think it was going to happen. So, but yeah, pretty good UHC. It's really nice to see as many people turn up as they did. So, it's a shame it's going to be the last one, or at least the last regular one. UHCs have always been my favorite thing that we've done on the JFS. Kind of our little constant, like, mainstay type event that we've always done. It's always been good to see people show up. But we were kind of talking about it after this season that after a time, like, in the old days when everybody was still learning the best way to do a UHC, like, there was a lot of different strategies playing out. Some people would try to cave for as long as possible, and others would get the basics down and then go to the surface and rely on their skills to take down other teams and then benefit off of what they've done. Yeah, I think of, like, Park and Ellen from Season 7, where they just did the basics, went to the surface, and then just benefited off of the spoils of teams that they killed. But yeah, Eventually, over time, everybody basically got it down to a science, and UHC's kind of became the same old story, kind of samey, you know. Everybody does their day one stuff, they cave, somebody might go to the nether, maybe have another fight, but pretty much everybody does, you know, varying levels of good at caving, and then they surface and get into a big battle at the end. There's not really much going on in the middle of a UHC. Now, I would still argue that there's the slow burn aspect of UHCs, where all the little details that are happening kind of add up to the point where, like, it's interesting to see how all these little decisions and all the little things that happen add up to, you know, they create their own storylines and kind of affect how the team plays throughout the season, as well as how they're going to handle the combat portion of things, and whether or not they win or lose. So, paying attention to all these little events that happen, these determinants, as I have learned in my online classes, which are just moments of fate that determine your fate. You know, it's like this specific moment is like the first domino that fell that ultimately led to a team winning or losing in a UHC. And there can be more than one determinant. You know, your decision to go to the nether, or a player dying early, or taking a lot of damage and using up all of your golden apples, and things like that. So yeah, I still find that stuff fun, but for most people, it's all about the combat, and the caving part, as interesting as that can be, or as, like, important as that can be, the fact that everybody is basically doing the same thing is not as exciting. So, thus, people started to skip out on UHCs, not as many people show up, and get to the point where we start wondering, should we just stop doing these? And I think at least once or twice I was like, oh, let's at least get to 40, so we can end on a good number. And here we are. We are at 40. So yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say about season 40. I guess I will touch more on the, like, potential final UHC ever. There's definitely an asterisk there. Basically, we're going to stop doing them on a regular basis, even though this UHC was like 5 or 6 months in the waiting compared to the previous one. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be the end for UHCs completely. It might. But I think we're going to try to do other stuff instead. Do more community-based things. And another thing that we were talking about in regards to that is the fact that we have had some people talking about wanting more community stuff, but not wanting to, I guess, organize any of it. Which I think I'm kind of guilty of that as well. But like I've you know, when I did the last awards show, I didn't ask if anybody wanted to do it. I was just like, here we go. This is a thing now. So so yeah, hopefully we do more community stuff, more group stuff. I think Muck said that sometime within the next month we should do a Jiffyland Games Day, where everybody gets together and plays a bunch of these games. So, partially why I'm working on this is so we can maybe get some racing in. As for UHC related content, maybe we'll do like a UHC per year or something. In terms of the leaderboard, I am probably going to continue to keep track of a leaderboard. Like, I'll continue to work on a Series 5 leaderboard. But I'm not going to... probably not going to mention it much at all. I'm just going to do it for record keeping. And if we do somehow make it to Season 50, which if we're going to do an annual UHC, that means 2034 is... I'm going to be 41 when that happens. But, yeah, if we reach Season 50 at any point, then I will crown a Series 5 champion. Otherwise, I'll probably just keep track of it for my own sake. Maybe share it with people who ask about it, but otherwise probably not going to mention it. Just going to do it for myself. Also, I do intend on making some UHC-related video projects. There's a couple things I want to do, a couple quick things, like, well, one of them's not very quick. It's gonna, I want to put together a supercut of, like, every UHC battle that was on camera from, like, Season 1. Just have a giant supercut of that. I think that would be kind of cool. But another quick thing I can do is another tier list. I did a tier list after Season 30, I believe. And now that we're up to 40, I can do that again and see if my opinions change on some of the older ones. I'm going to have to rack my brain for the newer ones because I honestly... they're not as ironically fresh in my memory. They're not as the older ones. The older stuff is like hardwired into my brain, but once you hit like Season 30 or so, 30 to 31, it becomes really difficult to remember what happened. So, probably because they just weren't as memorable due to, you know, the dying interest. But it is what it is. So, yeah, that should do for this. I rambled on for almost 45 minutes, so. Future stuff on the JFS, maybe I'll do more. I did want to do a tour of the stuff that's been going on the server, at least on my end. So, I don't really have much to update on, though. I don't know, I'll figure something out. But, there's a couple places that I could show. And if I do more JFS videos, I might try to up the production value and see how long I continue to do that. Because I've tried to do little extra stuff here and there on occasion. And I've never kept up with it. But we'll see. So, anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed watching. And I shall see you all next time.